welcome to episode 17 of the Mingled Yarncast. I'm your host, Steven, also known as KnitFan on Instagram and Ravelry, and I'm coming to you this episode live from sunny Florida. Can't you tell? The sun is coming from the window over there, and it's making a very nice studio for me here. Because I didn't travel with lights and things like that, so we make do with what we've got. But I do feel like this white wall is going to be a very good canvas upon which to paint images with words and yarn. So let's see what we can do with that. I'm vacationing down here, spending some time with some friends and enjoying the sun, and also enjoying wearing and working on some summery knits, and that's what I want to talk about today. I'm going to share with you a couple of finished pieces. One I've shared before as a finished object, one that I've shown you as a work in progress, and one that is completely new, and then we'll finish it up maybe with something else a bit special as well. So let's get right to it, shall we? Let me just check my notes here, make sure that I am starting off with what I want to start off with. And the first thing I want to say is that this is not the episode where I will be doing the giveaway for the UK and Ireland, the giveaway that was mentioned in the UK-Ireland episode of the skein earrings. I'll put a picture here to remind you. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go and watch episode 16 so you can learn how you could be the recipient of these lovely earrings. I don't have them here with me. I did not travel with those, so that's why I can't show them to you in person. But people have been really responding to that, and it's been a lot of fun. And I'm going to be away for another week, so since I don't have the earrings here to mail off anyway, I figure we'll just leave that contest open, and you have a few more chances, but once I get back to New York, New Jersey, then I will make an episode where we do the drawing, and we'll see whose home those will be sent to. Okay? But yeah, check it out, and it's been a lot of fun reading everybody's recommendations of different shows and books and actors and whatnot to look out for. I do keep a list, believe it or not. I have a spreadsheet, and I have different pages for books and yarns and patterns and movies and TV shows, etc., etc. And I make a note of who tells me what to watch and where they told me to watch it or read it or whatever. And so I do pay attention. And I'll let you know as I go through my list, as I, get to read or see the thing that perhaps you recommended. And, in that light, I do have a recommendation of my own. I realized that probably the last 2 or 3 episodes I didn't do one. 2 episodes ago was the book club, and that was all about a book, so I didn't need to add a recommendation to that, but I don't think I did the last time. So I just finished listening to a book on, I want to say book on tape, because that's what we used to call them. An audio book, I guess, is the right word for it. Do anybody else do that? Still say book on tape? That really reveals your age, doesn't it? But anyway, a book on tape. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to be proud Gen X in this moment. An audiobook called The Antique Hunter's Guide to Murder. And that is by, I forget who it's by, but I'm going to tell you right now. Let me look this up. Anyway, I'll talk as I'm looking. It's a debut novel, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, because there's an interview with the author at the beginning of the audiobook on Audible. Here we go. Oh, I hit play. I didn't mean to do that. But the author is C.L. Miller. C.L., those are initials, C.L. Miller. And like I said, debut novel. It is a British story. It's a cozy mystery, and it's about a woman who, in her young 20s, was an antique hunter, meaning that she tracked down and found antiques that had been stolen or misappropriated, and tried to get them back to their original owners. Through a series of events, she could no longer do that. 20 years have passed, and let's just say mysterious circumstances are bringing her back to it. So there's a little bit of, like Indiana Jones, maybe a little bit of Dan Brown to it, but a very, very, very different style than those books. I guess the thing that connects them is a main character who is interested in history and objects from the past. But you also get a little bit of, just knowledge about Chippendale furniture, things of that nature, things that, being a crafter, you might naturally have an interest in. So, check it out. The Antique Hunter's Guide to Murder by C.L. Miller. So that's my rec for you. Now, let's talk about the knits, shall we? So, I'm here in a very hot tropical climate. Well, semi-tropical, I suppose. It's hot, regardless, and sweaty and humid. And let's be honest, even if I'm in New Jersey and New York, in the summer, it's sweat and hotty and humid there too, so it's not terribly different. It is not weather that you're going to wear your very best, Lopi sweaters or your very best Norwegian yokes done in a really thick wool in the summer, right? You need winter for those clothes, what we refer to as sweater weather. But, in the climate that we're in the part of the world that we're in, we only get sweater weather a few months of the year, and I thought, well, I want to start making some things that I can wear year-round. Maybe not year-round, but in other seasons besides winter. And that led me to look at some patterns and to start to make some things for warmer climes, such as this one that I'm currently wearing. You may remember this. This was my Lascaux Henley, sorry, that I made last year for the trip to France to the Lascaux Caves. And this one was the first thing that I've ever made from flax. And it was fun to work with. And it's really kind of like bloomed nicely. People said back when I was making it that it would become much, much softer, and it has. It's I really love it. I wear this quite a lot, actually. And super cool, temperature-wise, I mean. And, I think it's cool subjectively as well. Maybe you don't, but I do. But anyway, So this was really the first thing that I suppose I made that was a summer piece. And, it led me to want more. And that prompted me, as I said, to look around. I'm going to lower this a little bit so you can see a little more of what I'm wearing. There we go. I'm kind of backed against this wall. It's not easy for me to stand, but you can see what this looks like, right? I don't have to show you the whole thing. So anyway, another piece that I worked on, and I'm going to show you the next two pieces. I spoke about them in episode 9 when I talked about pieces that I sort of fell out of love with. And I'm happy to let you know that I have fallen back in love with these pieces. Well, at least one of them. The first piece I want to show you is this one. And this is a piece that, I do love it. The problem is, I just will never, ever wear it. I'll wear it for you here in a second, but I want to talk about it first. So this is the Pure Mesh Pullover by James N. Watts. And it is made with merino yarn. I believe it's merino. It's been a while since I saw the label, but that was dyed for me by Blue Fiber Company, Josh at Blue Fiber Company. This was the color that he had dyed a year or two before for the Atlas Pullover sweater, which I love. And when I saw on Instagram and Ravelry the Pure Mesh sweater, or Pure Mesh Pullover, I thought, well, I want to make that. I definitely want to make that. That looks like a fun, flashy, flirty piece. And it is. The problem, though, is that I'm actually not that flirty myself. Like, I don't have anywhere that I would wear this. I think I said this in the previous episode when I talked about it before. Like, this would be a great piece to wear at a music festival. But I don't ever go to music festivals, so where am I going to wear this? To the grocery store? I think not. Why? Okay, you want to see it? I'll put it on. Just give me a second. Here we go. And here we are. Flirty, yes. Now, okay, so, like I say, I probably would never ever wear this anywhere other than to just sit around. I wouldn't wear it to sit around the house. It's really tight. It's It's not really like stretching on my shoulders here very much. And here's just the other thing. I mean, it looks good. I would show you the whole thing, but this is the other problem. Like, this is a public YouTube channel that my students can find at any time. And I don't really want to show you myself standing up full body in this, because if that image starts to go around, you know, it's a little embarrassing. I don't think it's like lose my job kind of embarrassing, but it would make me uncomfortable. Right now, like this, shoulders and above, that's okay. That's okay. But here's the thing. So I made this, and I really enjoyed making it. It was fun. It was fun and quick. I mean, obviously, it's on big needles and then small yarn, so it goes up pretty quickly. But it is, like I said, tight through the shoulders. This yarn isn't stretching a whole lot. It's not the most comfortable thing. It looks cool, but it's not terribly comfortable for me. I should add. But I liked the experience of making it, and I liked the pattern. So I thought, you know, maybe if these holes weren't so wide, that maybe I could make a smaller, tighter version of it that I could wear to the grocery store, or I wouldn't mind being photographed in and having students see it. So, you know, that was my mindset. And last year when I was in Paris, France, on the wine tour from Bordeaux to Burgundy to Paris, it was there that I got inspiration for the next piece that I made, and the one that I've only just recently finished, even though I started it last summer. I'll tell you more about that in just a second. So let me change out of this into something more comfortable, okay? And here we are. This is what I am calling my Burgundy rooftop. Now, this might confuse some people because obviously Burgundy is a color. And the first thing that you're going to think when you see that name or that title is the color of wine, right? Because it's a wine-colored red. But this was made inspired by the time that I spent in Burgundy, the place, because this yellow and green and brown, these were colors that I just kind of saw everywhere. In particular, on the roofs in some of the really ornate buildings. In particular, the, what is it called? The Hôtel de Dieu, or the Hospice de Beaune. I can't remember the exact title. Hôtel de Dieu, which is in Beaune. And it's a 15th century, maybe 14th century hospital. Very, very cool to see. The rooftops were of this like magnificent tile, and in these colors, not in these stripes, but there may have been one or two other colors mixed in with all of this. But then there was the Hôtel de Ville, the city hall in Meursault, and it had colors almost exactly like this. So, except they were a little zigzaggier. But this kind of has a zigzaggy thing going on a little bit when you see it up close, especially. So, the other thing was, as we were going through Burgundy, there were tons of sunflower fields, and I have a couple of pictures of me in these sunflower fields. And in the pictures, you know, there's tons of yellow and green of this very hue. And I'm wearing a brown shirt, so these colors bring that together as well. So that's what it means for me, these colors. Funny enough, three or four people on Instagram said to me, they said, "Oh, is that a Mardi Gras shirt?" And I thought, I mean, I guess it could be. I guess you could wear anything to Mardi Gras or nothing to Mardi Gras. I could probably wear, you know, this to Mardi Gras. That would be a good place for it. But anyway, so, you know, I didn't think anything of it when they said that, and then I was showing it to a friend who's from New Orleans, and she says, "Oh, is that a Mardi Gras shirt?" And I said, "Why does everyone keep saying that?" And she said, "Oh, bless your heart. Don't you know that those are the Mardi Gras colors, the green, yellow, and purple in basically that same pattern or that same sequence?" I was like, "Well, this isn't purple," and it's not purple. I guess I could understand how maybe you could think that, but it's really not. It's a pretty deep brown. So anyway, but whatever. I mean, that's fine too. It's Mardi Gras. It's Burgundy. They all have their roots in the same place, right? Anyway, so it's my Burgundy rooftop shirt, and this was made with yarn that I picked up in Paris on the same trip. So I bought it with the intention of making something inspired by that place, and it's with Sheepjes, sheep, Jes, Sheepjes, Katona cotton. It's a mercerized cotton blend, and what I learned from working with this yarn is that I don't know exactly what mercerized cotton is. I did look it up and I've already kind of forgotten it. I know it adds this sort of shininess to it, and there is a sheen to the yarn a bit. The collar keeps flipping up. Let me fix that. There we go. But there's also, now I haven't worked with a ton of cotton yarn. I have another piece that I'm going to talk about to compare it, but my experience with cotton yarns is not vast. But this one, unlike the other one I will show you in a moment, has no flexibility. As you pull on it, I mean the fabric does a little bit, but as an individual strand of yarn, it's like rope. I mean, really, it has no give. And so I don't know if that's part of the mercerization process, but it was a quality of this yarn, which wasn't a bad quality, but it did mean that as I was working with it, it wore my hands out. People said to me, or things I read online, that the flax would do that. This flax did not. I haven't worked with a lot of flax, so I can't compare it to too much else. But working with this flax was really beautiful. Very similar to working with wool. It felt different in the hands, but it didn't stress my hands out. But this did after a while. Now, part of it was the yarn itself and just the way that I guess you get used to a little bit of give as you're working the needles, and when you don't get that, you don't even realize that you're pulling harder than you need to, at least for me. But the other thing that made it difficult were the color shifts. So I just want to show you this a little bit more. I started down here with a stockinette band in yellow, and then I worked the colors up. And it's by the way, it's the same stitch pattern that this uses. Only this, I think, was on, I want to say size 11 needles, maybe bigger. This I did on size 5. So it's much tighter. I think you can see that it is see-through in parts, but again, it's solid enough that, can I go grocery shopping? I can. Do I mind if I get photographed in this? I don't, because it's flirty up close, but at a distance, it looks kind of solid, or at the very minimum makes people go, oh, that's interesting, I think. At least I hope. Yeah. So I did that pattern much smaller. And the pattern, by the way, the stitch pattern, is listed in the Vogue Knitting Stitch Dictionary, and it is called Twisted Trellis. Twisted Trellis. And that's because, I don't know if you can see this up close, between each band, when you work the yarn overs, they kind of twist that way. That looks weird, doesn't it? But anyway, they do this. And the knit V's, they kind of stack onto each other going up, and I can't do it with my fingers, so I'm not even going to try, but just the V's kind of go dun, 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 like this, but they're at an angle. And anyway, that's, I suppose, the twisted part. It's giving ivy, like twisting ivy going up a trellis. There we go. It all comes together now. So that's the stitch pattern. And what I did when I made this, this was my choice. I can't blame anyone but myself. I rather than doing switching colors every 2, which would have had me starting on the same side, because I did it in pieces, front and back. So, 1, 2, and then I would start a new color, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I didn't do that. I did 3 rows on each color. So 1, 2, 3, and then I had to pick up the new color here and go 1, 2, 3, and then the next one, 1, 2, 3. So I had strands of yarn off each side and going back and forth and flipping it over. They were constantly twisting, and I'm constantly untangling, and it just got frustrating. Like the emotional response that I had in working with this was like, ugh, I don't like it anymore. And I got to the point last summer that I had the front done and I had the back done, and I had put on the these little lapel panels here. And prior to that, prior to me fixing it all up, I should say, I realized a couple of things. One was that as you can see here, there's a kind of a deeper green. There we go. And it's in stockinette. That's because when I cast off here, I had these lapel parts. I know you've heard me say this before, but the fact that the screen doesn't mirror me drives me crazy. I hope it's entertaining for you to watch me go, what? It would be easier just to look down. So I picked these up in this layer of green here, and because of the nature of the stitch pattern, it didn't pick up very neatly, or rather it did pick up neatly, but you have, yarn overs and you have stockinette, and so they're the yarn overs are looser, and it just made everything pull in weird ways. So it looked very uneven, and I was like, I don't like that, because it was pulling up in the middle here, and it ruined the effect of the stripes, really. And the other thing that I did after that was I added a collar, but I added the collar in stockinette initially, forgetting that it would just curl, which it did. And I'll show a picture of it for you here so you can see what it looked like at that point in time. But I was determined, because I knew I was coming here and I wanted something that I could wear in a warm climate. I wanted to finally finish this thing, and I knew that I wanted it to be sort of a polo style, and it would have short sleeves. Once I put the whole thing together, seamed it all up, even though the front and back were done in pieces, flat, I thought, I don't want to do the sleeves that way. I'm just going to pick them up, and I'm going to go in the round, and somebody's going to ask, well, how did you do the decreases? And the answer really is that I just kind of eyeballed it. I do that with a lot of the things that I make freehand. I'll find a shirt that I already have, like a polo shirt for this one, and I'm just laying the pieces on top of it and saying, okay, well, this shirt fits me well, and it's this long and this wide, and here's where the sleeves are, and I just mimic that. There may come a time when that doesn't work properly, but so far it's worked pretty well. So what I did then on the shoulders, let's see here, is I picked up 90 going around. The first 3 stripes I kept at 90, and then after that third one, which is the green one, I began to decrease every other row until I decreased down. Well, there's how many stripes here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 stripes, which means there were, I can't do the math in my head right now. I should have written it down. But anyway, I think I decreased it down to like 66, if I'm not mistaken. And then put on the sleeve band here. And as I was doing this, I thought, should I do just a regular cast off, bind off, or should I do Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off? And it looked like when I got to that point, I could have done a regular one, but I've fallen into that trap so many times where I do a regular bind off, and even when I think that I've cast off loosely, it doesn't matter. I can go up a needle size or 2, and it still just doesn't matter. I've made so many things that the sleeves don't fit, and that drives me batty. So, and yet I keep falling into the trap again and again, thinking, oh, this time it's going to be different, right? It's like, the relationship mistakes that you make. This time will be different. No, it won't. So I did the surprisingly stretchy bind off, Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. And it fit perfectly. And it's very, very comfortable. And it still looks fitted. I mean, like it will stretch some, but it also hugs the arms nicely. So then I realized, that's actually what I need here. And now, as I've been playing with this, I think, maybe I should have made the collar a little bit larger, and so the flaps would sit down maybe a little better, because they're very rambunctious. They do their own thing, don't they? But anyway, I did a 1x1 rib for the collar when I removed it from where it was. Oh, I should say, I removed everything. I removed the lapel too, and then I added the green bit, just a few stitches extra so that I had something to work into and pick up, and I did it in stockinette so that it would be easier to get it evenly. And do I love the fact that, when you see it at a distance, that green, because it's so concentrated, it's the same green, but it looks a little deeper to me anyway. Do I love that? No. But can I live with that? Yes. And it won't keep me from wearing the shirt. So the other way it would have. I didn't like that at all. So anyway, fixed the lapel panels. Then I fixed the collar. And like I said, made it a 1x1 rib. And I did the stretchy bind off with this too, so that it wouldn't pull tight and then want to curl, even though it still, as you can see, wants to curl a little bit. But anyway, now that this one is done, I had so much, in the end, I had a lot of fun making it, and also in the end, I have a lot of fun wearing it. So this is one of those cases, sometimes you make something, for example, this one, fun to make, I don't love to wear. This one, I liked making it, I didn't love it. But I love wearing it, so I'm very happy that I struggled through it and got that done. So here we go. Now, I wasn't done with the twisted trellis, though. I thought I want to keep going with this, but I want to do something where I'm not switching colors all the time, and where I'm not stressing myself out about the stripes and the things that I disliked about this piece were things that could have been different. So I wanted to try it differently. So I went through my stash and I found a yarn that I got from Knit Crate probably a year and a half ago. And it was also a cotton yarn. So I'm going to show you that one right now. Here we go. Ta-da! This one is a tank top, as you can see. And I'm calling it the strawberries and cream tank top because it's got this white pink thing going on, and it kind of reminds me of like a popsicle kind of thing. So done in the same twisted trellis, but done on slightly bigger needles than this one was. Let me put it back the right way because I had to flip it inside out getting off. So you can see it's a little more see-through. It's not at this level, but more see-through than this is. But still, solid enough that I can go grocery shopping in it, or go to the gym in this, actually. So this is really exciting because now I'm like, oh, I've made active wear. This is something that I would work out in. It's very, very comfortable. I cannot stress that enough. And it's much lighter than this one. The mercerized cotton is actually, it's just heavier. I mean, like I said, it's ropier, it's heavier. This cotton was from Uru Yarns, which is not a yarn company that I'm too familiar with. I'll try to look up a little more information on them. They didn't have anything on Instagram, but Uru Yarns. And the colorway was called Neon, which seems a little misleading because I wouldn't describe this as neon, but to each their own. But what I love about it is 100% Pima cotton, soft. It does have some like stretch and flexibility, and I think it is the first 100% regular cotton, not mercerized, that I've worked with. And I had read from what other people had said online and other projects looking around on Ravelry, that cotton, when you work with it, could kind of like have a bias in one direction or another. The stitches tend to lean one way and, stretch out the fabric. That did happen with this one, but it blocked out very, very nicely. So I did this in 2 pieces, front and back. I blocked them before I sewed them up. The front was kind of fine. It was the back that was a mess, and it was a mess. Like, looking at it, it was like, why is it stretched like that? I didn't stretch it myself, but it's just the way that it, developed and grew from the needles. So that was interesting to see, because like I say, I've read about that, but I'd never actually experienced it. And I didn't know if cotton would block the same as wool, but it did. Maybe even a little bit better, because when it dried, it was the exact shape that it needed to be. And it stayed there, so that was good. So this one, let me just check my notes here, make sure I said everything that needed saying about everything else as well. Yeah, well, let me tell you how I made it. So I started with an I-cord cast on, or, well, not an I-cord cast on. I made an I-cord, and then I picked up stitches from it, which is a trick I've learned from doing many a Stephen West shawl. If you are a veteran of Stephen West projects, then you know that sometimes those pieces can, do an I-cord that's 5 feet long, and you're picking up stitches along it. So same as before, same as with the polo, I have a tank top that I wear a lot, and I just was like, I want to make that, but I want to make it myself. So I just kind of measured everything against that. I made the I-cord. Actually, I measured that just against my body. So I'm sharing this with you just to say, because a lot of people, have said in comments and Instagram that, oh, I can't do any freehand thing like that. I need a pattern. That's fine, but actually you should just try it. I mean, that's how I've end up making a lot of things that I've just said, okay, well, here's an I-cord, here's my body, and I, size it against my own body. Say, okay, that's long enough, and then picked up stitches. I picked up, for every 4 stitches, I picked up 3. So 1, 2, 3, then skip a stitch on the I-cord, pick up the next 3, so that it doesn't bloom outward too much, and it didn't. And then I had this idea. I wanted the sides, I don't know if you can see this. Well, I intentionally wanted it to split at the side a little bit. You see that sometimes on a shirt. And I wanted there to be an I-cord. Sorry, this is awkward. I wanted there to be an I-cord border all along. And I also wanted the sleeves to be I-cord and along here too. So that was my vision. It didn't work out exactly that way for reasons I will explain. However, in the bottom, when I was doing an I-cord edging, just like I've done on, as I say, many a West Knits piece, and it always works on the West Knits pieces. For this, it did not. It didn't look good on the sides when I was doing that. The actual I-cord that I picked up stitches from looked great. But when I would, do the yarn forwards, slip 3 stitches, and then flip it over and knit those so that you have the cord forming on the side, I don't know why it didn't turn out with this yarn, but it didn't. So I said, no, not going to do that. What I thought I might do in the end was pick up stitches and, create an I-cord along the side here. However, in the end, I didn't do that. What I did instead was I left a selvage of 3 stitches on each side. And because it's in stockinette and because it kind of folds under, it created an edge that, even though it's not an I-cord edge, it kind of resembles it. And in the end, I thought, nope, I don't want to add anything extra to that. I really, really like the way that looks. And the same here going up on the straps. Now here on the neckline, and on the back too, I just cast off. So that, it looks different. It looks a little rougher, a little more rustic perhaps, but I like it. I think I'm just going to leave that too. I didn't want to add anything to it because I like the simplicity of this piece. Also, I started it when I arrived here, the day I arrived in Florida, and I thought to myself, I want to create something, a top, and I want to finish it like in no time. I want to get it done while I'm here, and I want to wear it while I'm here. So that's what I did. And I could not be happier. I'll show you one more time so you can get the full effect. There we go. It does a little bit of flaring out that I don't love, but I don't hate either. But on the whole, it's loose. It's breathes very well. After I made it yesterday, I just spent the rest of the evening sitting around in it, and I'll probably do the same thing tonight because it's super, super comfy. So I would definitely use this yarn again or another yarn like it. And yeah, so this is the strawberries and cream tank top. There we go. Okay. I think I told you everything how to make it, should you wish to do your own. And maybe I didn't. So it was done in pieces, front and back, like I said. I just worked it up to the armpit. Then what I did was I cast off 9 on each side. And then I cast off, I think I had, how many stitches did I have? Did I have 86? I want to say there were 86. Yeah, there were 3 on the edge, 3 on the edge, and then 80 across the middle. And so then I decreased 9 on each side, so 18. And then for the next 10 rows, front and back, I decreased at both ends to make this come up a little more sharply until I was down to 48 stitches. Sorry, the math is not mathing right now in my head. I did write all this down, by the way. But my notes, they're not necessarily written for others to interpret, and possibly not even for me myself to interpret. But yeah, it says 48 stitches, so whatever, however many rows that was, I think it was 10. 9 plus 9 plus 10 is 28 minus, forget it. But anyway, you decrease. It gets a little more narrow, and then just straight up until I got to the neckline, at which point I had decreased 12, and then I decreased, I think it was 6 more times, but only on the right side. It's not the wrong side, so that it decreased at a slower rate and a different slope. And then kept it up to 12 stitches across on the front, and did basically the same thing on the back, although the back goes higher. Okay, so what's next then? What is next is actually the piece that I thought that I was going to work on down here. I didn't come here thinking this would be my vacation piece. I wanted to pick up a piece that I had started actually I think 2 years ago. Yeah, it was 2022. And this was a pair of shorts called the Adam and Frey shorts that was designed by Hands On Knits, Danish designer, I believe. And I used the yarn that she recommended, which is BC Garn Bio. I can't read my own writing. Hold on. Okay, I just checked. BC Garn Bio Balance. How I could not read the word balance, I don't know. But anyway, it's a 55% wool, 45% cotton. So it's even stretchier than this is. Anyway, it's a pair of shorts, and they're the Adam and Freya shorts. So she has 2 options. They're designed for men. They have a little codpiece of sorts, like underwear. And you can either do a fig leaf or a sort of more flowery pattern, because this is done in brioche. And this was the first thing that I ever worked on in brioche, and I didn't complete it. The reason that I didn't complete it at the time was that when I got to the point where I joined the legs and was doing the crotch part, and it was off center, which I thought at first, it won't bother me. But then I kept going, and then I was like, ugh, it bothers me. And that threw me off the whole piece because I knew it took me a long time. It's my first brioche piece. And I would not say that brioche came naturally. I had made a lot of mistakes and a lot of false starts. So once I realized I was going to need to frog it, I just put it on the back burner where it's been for a couple of years. But now I thought, well, I want to get it ready for warm weather because we still have some left before the fall. So that was what I had intended to work on. I'm going to show it to you now, what I've got so far. It's off the needles because I needed the needles for something else, but it really hasn't fallen apart. So here's what it is so far. And yeah, my stitches are really uneven. They get better as I go along. So that's another reason why I thought, well, let me just start over. Here's the fig leaf bit. And another thing, do you see how you can see me and the wall in the seam of that crotch piece? That's another reason why I want to start it again. Because when I looked at her pictures online, that was very much tighter and not see-through. So I would like for it not to be see-through. This, see-through. This, not see-through. So do you have any tips on that? Please let me know. I will need your advice and I will take it. But anyway, this is going to take me a while to frog the whole thing due to the different strands. And anyway, that's probably what I'm going to do tonight because now that I finished this, I'm ready to get back to this one. And by the way, this yarn feels great. In fact, I thought to myself, do I want to do something different with this yarn? Maybe a whole other project. But well, one thing, I really liked the design. I thought, no, I want to do this. Also, I have a shawl in the works that I'm going to be working with the yarn that was gifted to me from Birch Tree Fiber Arts Company. And it's going to be a much more complicated brioche piece than this is. So I thought this is a good first piece because honestly, I know it's kind of flirty and silly, but this, I'm calling it the cod piece. I guess that's what it is. But figuring out how to do that, learning how to do that, and making it look good, that took a while, and for me. So I wanted to, this is already a bit complex, but the next piece is going to be much more. So yeah, that was why I wanted to finish this as well. But anyways, as I was saying, I liked the design, and I also liked. I tried it on once I removed the needles, and it was easier to sort of just pull up. It feels really good. It feels really, really nice. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to finish this piece. So that's that. That's what's coming up next for me. And hopefully it won't take me as long to get it back to where this is. I'm curious to know, like, for those of you that are good at brioche, like if you were making trunks like these and you had them this far, how long would that take you? I just remember it taking me forever. But like I said, I'm not a brioche master yet. So how long would it take you? Let me know in the comments. Okay. Do I have anything else to share with you right now? I think that's it. Like I said, I'll be back home in about a week's time, and at that point, you can be on the lookout for a giveaway video where I announce the winners of the earrings. And yeah, until then, everybody, I hope you are having a great summer too. Let me know in the comments what sort of summer knits you're working on. Do you have a wardrobe that's for warm weather and as well as your sweater weather in the winter? And what are the go-to pieces that you do? With that said, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.